Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I'm Trissetta Alexander, founder and CEO of Sister Spotters, also known as the Dream Igniter. I just wanted to pop in for a few minutes and share with you all something that's been on my mind since the middle of the week. I've just returned back to work last week after time of recuperation from major surgery, and I was completely drained and a little bit overwhelmed from the return and all that was in front of me that needed to be done after being in a very relaxed state for several weeks or 8 weeks. And so I needed the time to make the adjustment. And so Monday, I shared a blog post about how to deal with overwhelm. Basically 3 steps to conquer overwhelm and move forward and get stuff done. And so I wanted to share with you, Wednesday, I shared this quote by Winston Churchill, and it's, "Success is walking from failure to failure with no less enthusiasm," or no loss of enthusiasm. And when I shared that in my midweek motivation post, it reminded me of this story from my childhood. So I think I was in 1st or 2nd grade, and we were having field day, and I was in a potato sack race, and I was gunning for it, hopping along in my little sack in first place, and I got very close to the finish line and fell. But I immediately picked myself back up and kept on hopping along. I ended up finishing the race in 2nd or 3rd place. But I finished the race. And afterwards, my father came to me and he said that he was really proud of me because he thought when he saw me fall that I was just going to lay there and cry and not really get up and finish the race. So he was pleasantly surprised when I popped back up and with the same enthusiasm that I was hopping along in my sack when I was in 1st place, ended up finishing the race. And you know, life and success is a lot like that potato sack race that I was in, right? So you're going to have challenges along the way to success and in life that are going to restrict your ability to move forward. But you have to find some sort of way to continue to move beyond that restriction or that challenge, whatever that may be. You're going to fall sometimes. Things aren't going to go the way you expected them to go. And so you're going to have to find a way to pick yourself back up and keep on hopping along in your potato sack in spite of the fact that you fell. Another thing that you can remember or that we can kind of take away from this experience is really and truly the only person that you're competing against is yourself. Yes, you know, in the instance of the potato sack race, there were other kids that were participating with me, and there was a clear first place winner. But in life, you're only racing against yourself. You're only competing against yourself. And it is the things that we tell ourselves, or when we're starting to compare ourselves to others, that we find that we're not, or we think that we're not as far along in the race that we need to be, or we think that we don't have what it takes, or we're comparing ourselves to someone else and we're like, well, they're doing it, or they're at this place, why am I not doing that? Or we're doing the exact same thing and they seem to be blossoming and blooming in it, but we don't seem to be getting the momentum and traction. And it's because we're all on this race individually. You can't compare your progress or your success to someone else. You can only compare it to what you did the previous day. And so you want to work towards competing against yourself, being a better person, being better tomorrow than you are right now today. And another thing that you can pull away from that is the race isn't over until you cross the finish line. Okay, so you may as well finish strong. You're running the race for yourself. No one else is there, is running it for, can run it for you, or is running it for you. So you may as well go ahead and finish strong. the race is going to continue whether you decide to carry on or not. Because think about it, that if I had just given up when I fell down in that potato sack race and just laid there on the ground crying or bawling or whatever, the race would have continued on. People still would have been pushing forward. People still would have been hopping along towards the finish line of that race. And I would have just been laying there crying. The race doesn't end. Life doesn't end just because you don't want to participate. You have to keep on trekking on in spite of that. And so you may as well do all that you can do to finish strong. You don't want to go to the grave not having really and truly achieved your true potential, or really seeing all that's really on the inside of you. And one more thing, I'm a runner. Okay, so not like race runner. So I'm not doing any 5Ks or running any sprints or anything. I learned my lesson in high school. In fact, I would join the track team 1 year in high school, and I did one practice, and that was a major fail. So I'm not talking about that kind of running. When I say I'm a runner, that is my defense mechanism. When things get challenging, when things get difficult, I cut and run. I run the other way. And I recently had a challenge or a situation that I was facing. I was planning a retreat for Sister Spotters, and things weren't going the way I really anticipated. It was a month before the event, and I had 0 people registered. There were some expenses that I needed to pay for this event, and I didn't want to bind myself to having to pay for an event that nobody showed up to. And so I decided to cancel it. Well, I ended up having a similar test with the Ignite Her conference that we just had a couple weeks ago. It was getting close to the event and no one had registered. And this was a much larger event that I was planning for, and it was way more expensive. And I had to make a decision as to whether or not I was going to continue on with carrying on the event or not. And for those of you who may not know, I'm a minister, a administrative pastor alongside my husband for Vessels of Joy Full Gospel Church. And as a leader, one of the things that I'm constantly challenging people to do is to walk by faith. And as a leader, I can't preach to others telling them to walk by faith and not look at the situation, not look at the circumstances, and really focus their attention on Christ and moving forward in spite of what they see. And then I do something completely different. And so it was important for me to live out that same faith, because really and truly, you're not going to move beyond the test until you qualify. So it's just like an Olympic sport. They have pre-qualifications. And so in order for them to be in the Olympics, in order for them to get to the Olympics, there's pre-qualification races. And it's the same way in life. You're going to have tests and different situations that you have to face. And until you pass that test, you can't move on or advance to the next level. And so I decided to go ahead and move forward, and it ended up being a very, very powerful and life-changing event, not only for the attendees, but for myself included. And it didn't go the way that I had planned. I still had, remember I said that there was hardly anybody registered when it came time to actually put on the event, and there was a huge expense associated with it. So I had to find some sort of way to still come up with the money to finance the event, even though what the income I was expecting didn't show up. But I'm not allowing that to stop me. I still think of the event as a success because I carried on with it. I still pushed on with it. And it was an amazing event for those of us who were there. And I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do for the next one. What am I going to do next? How can I make it better? How can I serve the women in the Sister Spotters community in a better way or on a higher level? And I want to just express to you that it's really easy to allow your perceived failure to dampen your enthusiasm to move forward. You're going to have failures in life. Failure is basically inevitable. It's inevitable. However, in that failing, fail forward. Don't allow the failure or perceived failure to put a damper on your enthusiasm to continue to pursue your goal or to pursue your purpose or your passion, whatever it is that you're reaching for. Use the lessons that you learn from that failure to fuel your forward momentum rather than deplete it. Keep on pressing forward. Fail forward. Fail forward. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep on pushing. Just in your failure, fail forward. Keep moving forward. That's really all I wanted to share with you all today, is just a few lessons that I learned over the last few months and about life and challenges, the challenges that we face as we journey on this thing called life and the journey towards success, because success isn't really something that you arrive at. It's not a destination. It's a journey that's full of twists and turns and winding roads, ups and downs, and all kinds of crazy things that life has to throw at you. So I just wanted to encourage you to continue to move forward no matter what you're facing. Pull your potato sack back up and keep on hopping like a mad person towards the finish line. I want to leave you with this. My personal motto: always live on purpose, pursue your passion, and unleash your power. That's all for today. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.